equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. It's the same thing we've used all along. So how do we write an equation in slope-intercept form? Well, the first thing we have to do is figure out the slope. Now, let's think about this before. Before, we were given a problem, and then we were asked to graph it. In other words, we were given something like this. Y equals a 2 over 3x minus 4. We found the m, the slope, which was 2 over 3, and then we found the b, or the y-intercept, which was negative 4, and we'd simply graph it. In other words, we would start at negative 4 as our first ordered pair, our first coordinate, and then we would do rise over run, meaning we'd rise 2, 1, 2, and we'd run 3, 1, 2, 3, and we would do that forever. Then we would draw a line representing it. All that to say is we were first given the equation and then what we would graph. But now it's asking us to reverse this. Now it's giving us the graph and it's asking us to make the equation. But it's giving us some hints. It's giving us some ordered pairs, coordinates if you will, that we can start with. So it's telling us that 0 and negative 3 and 4 and 3 are 2 points on this line to help us find the graph. So one of the ways we can do this is to use the definition of slope. Now the definition of slope, though there's many, there's rise over run, there's the difference in y over the difference in x. The one that we're going to use is y2 over y1 over x2 minus x1. And for those, and that equals our slope, and for those who are very accurate, yes, it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, but we just abbreviate it as y2 minus y1. Okay, the first order pair is 4 and negative 3, and then the second one is 0 and negative 3, so let's just designate this. We'll call this our y1, because it's a y. Remember, it's an ordered pair. It goes in alphabetical order, x and y, x and y. And we'll call this one our y2. If this is the y2, this must be the x2, and this must be the x1. So now let's just substitute these numbers into the equation. We'll have y2, meaning 3, minus y1 being a negative 3, over x2 being a 4, minus x1 being 0. Remember that a negative next to a negative is a
positive.
Positive. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 4 take away 0 is 4. Of course, this one could be reduced. It can be simplified a little bit more, because 2 is a common factor here. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. I just divided them both by 2, if you will. So m equals 3 over 2. Now that we found our slope, we just need to rewrite the equation. So we're going to take the slope-intercept equation, y equals mx plus b, but we're going to put y equals, but instead of the m, we now know what the m is. 3 over 2x. But what about the b? Remember, the y-intercept is when the x equals 0. So in this particular graph, it's telling you when x equals 0, y is a negative 3. So it would be negative 3. And that would be the answer to this particular one. Now, could we have found the slope if we would have chose 2 other points on this line?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? We could always find out by choosing another point. Let's choose 2 and 0 and find out real quick.